Say what you want about England, but they're the last unbeaten team in this World Cup and the Northern Hemisphere's last hope. In this episode of Beyond 80, I'm joined by Jimmy Gopperth, and we're going to look at why England might have what it takes to lift another Rugby World Cup. So pressure without the ball, this could be key for England. They've conceded just 3 tries in the group stage, lower than anyone else. 39 points, which is lower than everyone bar France and South Africa. That, without the ball, their defence is going to be the thing that might take them to victory against South Africa.
It's everything. It's their game plan. It's the way they've built their fundamentals of the game. It just enables them to try and dictate the pace of the game and keep them on their terms.
We're going to use Live Tag Pro to show you what's going on here. But we're going to look at how their defence works. So first of all, in this first phase, you can see just how many men England have on their feet. So it's going to show us here, England got 12 men on their feet, Argentina just 9. So instantly, that's upper hand to the defence. We've got the gain line on the picture, and we're going to see England tackle Argentina behind that gain line. So instantly, again, defence is on the upper hand. Now we're going to look at Ben Earl. He's going to rush up just by himself and take Argentina. Again, this is the next phase behind.
So you've got Itoje, Laws and Elliot Daly. Jamie George on the inside. So it's about connections. It's always about connections. Now, you can't rush up on a blindside when you've got overloaded attackers. You can see the Argentinian attackers coming around the back with short passes. So you can see how well connected Laws and Daly are especially. Now, their shoulders are really square, but their bodies are able to move left and right. Now, that's really important because especially Laws, if he turns his shoulders out towards the touchline, then he'll get stepped on his inside. So he's trying to stay as big as he can, but also staying really connected with Daly. And Daly's not getting ahead of Laws. It's trying to usher them to the touchline. And the old saying, the touchline's the best defender. So they're just trying to regroup to get to a contact point, and if that's on the edge, or here it is, they step back on the inside. It allows them to be set again. It allows the likes of Earl and etc. to get off the line again.
So England is sacrificing the gain line here in order to just keep Argentina out.
Yeah, and you have to on short side. Sometimes it is about conceding a little bit of territory and a little bit of gain line to get set to go again. And it's clear and evident from England's defence that 1 who is closest to the right to maybe 5, it's all about line speed. And they're really trying to cut the time and space down of the attackers of Argentina. To do that, you really want to do it off edges. You don't want to do it off the middle of the pitch. And you can see they're keeping them in that area of the pitch.
And so, yeah, exactly as you say there, Argentina have got the gain line, but they've lost field position. So that chess battle, they might have won a piece, but they're in a slightly worse position now. And now we're going to look at Ben Earl again. He rushes out, goes through the screen of the forwards and makes that tackle well behind the gain line. In this situation, Argentina could continue playing, but ultimately they're not going to get anywhere. They might get a turnover, and so instead they decide to kick it away. And that's, in a nutshell, what England's defence is trying to do. It's just keep that pressure on, not let anything easy happen, and just keep that momentum in their favour.
Well, they're trying to get the ball back. And how do you get the ball back? Firstly, you get it back by your defence, as in your dominant hits, and getting that back by knock-ons, etc. Secondly, you might chop someone, you get a turnover. And thirdly, you're giving them no territory, so they kick it back to you. In every defence, you're trying to get the ball back. But it's very evident the way England are defending. Very aggressive, just trying to cut the time and space down, so you're left with no options to run, that you have to kick the ball back.
Well, you spent last season with Leicester Tigers. You spent about the first half of that season with Steve Borthwick before he went to England. How similar is this defence to the one that you were running at Leicester?
Very similar. You can see how compact they are, but it's all about line speed. You can see in a couple of those clips, Ben Earl, etc., in 3-point stance, they're just ready to get off the line. And it's all about taking the time and space away. And then it's about getting double tackles. So it's not just one guy shooting up. One guy will go, but the guy left and right are with them as well, because if that attacker steps them, then they're right there to get a double tackle.
Well, we can see in this next clip more of that decision-making around the ruck and those double tackles as well. So this is the match-winning defensive set by England. So first of all, they compete at the in the line-out, but also now they're going to keep those men on their feet. Men on their feet mean they can go in those double tackles. And again, that first tackle there is Ben Earl, but we can see how urgent he is to get back to his feet, to get back into the defensive line. Then after that, Fiji really, they've come so narrow that they're struggling to gain much yardage. And here, England are just making the hits and they're waiting for that one opportunity. And we see that come here. Laws and George make the tackle, but then Laws goes over. It's not a look. There's a man off his feet, so you have to have 2 men over the ball for it to be a look. So it's not a look. Laws steals that ball. That ultimately won them the quarterfinal, took them into the semi-final, and those are all the principles you just talked about there.
Yeah, it is, and they've been very pleased the way they've seen that game out, because it was about discipline as well, and it was a big thing when I was working with Steve and Kev Sinfield, is you had to hit and roll, hit and roll, hit and roll, hit and roll, and it was drummed into you. By hitting and rolling, it actually allows the second man, like Laws there, to attack the ball. It's a big part of their game is getting up quick, tackling, and getting out there as fast as you can to allow the opportunity for those jacklers to get in and steal the ball.
Well, we talked a lot in these 2 clips about Ben Earl. He's going to be a major part of England's attack on South Africa on the weekend. If he doesn't play well, there's a good chance that England also won't play well. How important has he been to England's success?
He's been huge, because he's not your natural number 8. He's not your big ball carrier. He's your dynamic ball carrier. But his work rate's phenomenal. Off the ball, on the ball, he's everywhere. Sometimes you need a guy like that bringing the energy, and he's making big plays. He is a big part of the England setup at the moment, and playing really, really well.
Well, we've talked there about pressure without the ball. England haven't been great at gain line success. Only Portugal and Chile rank lower than them in their gain line success of 34%. But on the flip side, England have been good at avoiding those negative carries, times when they've lost the gain line. They've done that just 20% of the time, which is the 5th best in the tournament. So they may not be going forward that strongly, but they're not going backwards either. They're essentially getting the ball out as soon as it goes bad. So we can see in this clip here, this is against Fiji again from the weekend, and we can see that they're going to go through the phases here. They're actually going to go wide, left to right. They've enjoyed playing outside the 15s this tournament, perhaps more so than teams we might expect to be a little bit more expansive. But as soon as they go wide here to Elliot Daly, they're in that difficult attacking situation that we see. They go once more into the midfield, but they're caught well behind the gain line. We're talking kind of 6-7 metres behind the gain line. So in this situation, England just don't want the ball. They don't want to keep that negative momentum going, so they just kick it away.
So in this, we call this the dead period, the dead sort of area of the pitch. It's sort of in between those 10 metre lines. And when you get battered behind the gain line, or you get no momentum after 2-3 phases, they're looking to change the momentum. If you keep battering away, sometimes in those areas, if you give away a penalty, that's a kick into the 22, which allows a team to get a drive on and put you under a lot of pressure. Sometimes it's better at those area of the field to not have the ball. If you're going backwards, you're going backwards. You need to put the pressure somewhere else. And you can see with the high ball there, he sat in the pocket, put a high ball up, but it's not just kicking away the ball. It's actually an attacking kick. Because they've got good aerial jumpers, good aerial chasers, they're trying to make an attacking kick work for them.
I think we see that a lot, is that these kicks are more often than not purposeful. They're not simply, we don't know what to do with it, we'll kick it away. They are trying to, as you say, create pressure just somewhere else.
Yeah, 100%. And, it's a plan, and they would have talked about it pre-game, and it's part of their structure. It's part of not just a kicking strategy, but it's a part of their attacking strategy. They'll have momentum rules, and it will be 2 or 3 phases in those areas. And then it's going, no, you got opportunity, you got your license to play what you see. But if you're not going anywhere within those 2-3 phases, then change the point of attack. A kicking game is that kind of change of point.
That's going to be particularly crucial against South Africa. South Africa have scored 35% of their tries from turnovers. That's about 3 times more than the average. You just can't give up turnovers. You can't put together these negative phases and then give up the ball, because South Africa will punish you.
No, it'll be even more important against South Africa because of their aggressive defence and their physicality. Now, if you try and run too many times, you're going to get battered. And I think France in the first 20, 30 minutes have given England a bit of a blueprint of how to break that up. The speed they played out, the kicks in behind. They gave South Africa nothing to hit. Now, they want to hit things. And if you give them nothing to hit, change the point of contact that way, then you're going to frustrate them and you're going to create opportunities, as we've seen with France. A little chip over the top, little crossfields, playing with speed. It gave France opportunities to score tries.
Well, we can see in this next clip, England perhaps have been listing off as being unadventurous, if we're being kind, perhaps boring if we're being unkind. But actually, they're not a team who want to kick the ball away immediately. They're going to play what you give them. Now, we would expect here England within their 22. This is 100% one way just going to kick long. Most teams would do that. But not this England. So George Ford sees a little bit of space. He chips over the top, and now England are going forward. And then they've got men out wide to the left here where there's a good opportunity to attack. Ultimately, this thing's in a knock on, but they gain best part of 80 metres here with this Kelly. Now, I just want to take us back to the start here and just to this picture that George Ford sees. Now, obviously, you've been in this position hundreds of thousands, millions of times potentially in your career. Just talk us through what George Ford is seeing here that means that he takes this option.
Okay, so as you can see, as he sweeps around to the left-hand side, he's looking, you can see now he's looking to the backfield. Now, where is the backfield? He's looking to the edge. He's seeing what opportunities are. There's no sweeper. So there's that dead spot in behind the line that is not covered defensively. It's brilliant, a brilliant read. And the guy on the inside, and you can see that he's seen that space. We like to say it's shared decision-making. You see New Zealand do it with the likes of Jordan. They come around late and they're talking to their ball receivers and seeing that space. So as Ford's coming around, he's got guys looking at that opportunities as well. So it's brilliant execution and just manipulating the defence. And because they looked like they were going to run that, the front line stayed high. Yeah. And it gave that opportunity to chip the ball in behind.
It's a lovely late chip as well. He does take it to the line, not fully, but he takes a couple of steps to the line, brings Japan up and just creates that space.
Yeah, it is. And when you're doing chip kicks, it's normally the second or third guy out from you who are defending, who's the guys that can turn and pick that chip up. But because he's right at the line, because the likes of Daly sit in the width and looks like he wants the ball to run, that defender stayed high and not been able to turn and receive that kick.
As we talked about, England's game plan has been criticised as being perhaps negative. Is it hard mentally to play in a team where your game plan is being criticised as in that way?
Yeah, it is, but I don't think they'll be taking any notice of what other people are saying because they will know their game plan and they will trust their game plan. And when you're in a team, you trust the game plan and you know. More so, you know the reasons why you're doing it. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't know because they see a certain game plan and they're like, oh, I just want to see passes, I want to see tries, but they don't understand the players they've got. Now, the game plan will be done within what Steve sort of sees England, he wants the DNA to be, but also what personnel he's got. It may change different week to week if you have different personnel playing, but majority of the game plan will be around certain individuals and how that team will work collectively together. And their whole philosophy at the moment is a pressure-based game plan.
England have had 63 of their kicks have found glass, of bounce, which is 7 more than the highest of France, and they've retained 11% of their kicks, which again is higher than the average, which is just 8%. In this example, this is against Chile. Now, what I just want us to focus on here is this back man for Chile. So at the moment, England have no space to kick because he's covering it. But as soon as they go wide, just a couple of passes, he pushes up and then the space is created out the back there. Now, ultimately, Allendale scores a try off this. But this is an excellent bit of attacking play, moving the ball a couple of passes out. It draws up those outside defenders who may be playing either in the backfield or the wingers at kind of half depth. And then you can kick into the space behind it.
Also, they would have previewed this. Now, Chile may have had a sort of, their fullback might be tending to close, we call it closing, very early. And if he's an early closer and their blind wing is a little bit lazy, we like to say, then it creates that pocket in behind, no defenders. And when you put one in behind and you've got your whole attack bearing down on it, if their defender gets back, that's going to create havoc. Now, it's brilliant recognition by, is it Daly, is it the guys outside him? It looks like it's a team decision, and seen the opportunity, but the execution's bang on, and it leads to a score.
We're going to have a look at this next clip. England get the advantage from the scrum, which is always important for crossfield kicks because they are quite high risk. So if you can do it with a free shot by having a penalty advantage, that's always key. Very early in this clip, we see Faye Stewart on the far left with his hand up. Now, he's not connected to Elliot Daly on the inside. He's purely pulling that width as wide as he possibly can. But the issue for Japan here is actually what Elliot Daly does. He never touches the ball.
Daly's positioning here, and as he takes off late, the open winger for Japan here just sees him, and he hesitates, and he takes that first steps in, and that was it, done. As soon as he's taken those steps in towards the defender, it's allowed Freddie Stewart to go out and pinpoint kick off the left peg from George Ford, has taken that opportunity, and there's a great finish.
Well, obviously, we're looking ahead to the weekend. Will England be able to do this against South Africa? Well, there's some suggestion that they definitely could. France, as you said, they showed a blueprint as to how this could happen. So in this clip, we can see the two deep South African players, and there's just that little pocket of space. If you can put the ball into there, who knows where it's going to bounce? And in this case, it bounces straight into the arms of Jalabert.
You can definitely see South Africa's tactic here was putting a lot of pressure on Dupont. Now, Reinach was the one trying to charge him down, and that's left no sweeper in behind. So if South Africa are going to try and put that pressure on England, then they'll see that, and they'll 100% try and exploit it. And then that's just about reading the defensive play. It's how defences sometimes change their mindset game by game, and 100% South Africa would have had the mindset of Dupont's playing. We're going to put him under lots of pressure. Now it's going to leave that space, and if he's good enough to get it away, then so be it. Are they going to do it with England, or are they going to pull him back and look in the sweeper role? Now that's up for those guys to decide, and I'm sure they'll see those opportunities, because if there is no sweeper, it's definitely on. I'm very impressed with the wings play here, because a lot of wingers would come in like he's looking to support and would just stay there. But the way he just readjusts himself to keep the width, and we all know South Africa's defence is aggressive. Even off line breaks, they want to go and get you. So they've only got 3 men left with no backfield, and they still try and come up and get you. And then they've spotted that and put a brilliant kick in behind. So I'm sure if England make line breaks, they are going to be susceptible to kicking again. Just because of South Africa's aggression, it could give them real opportunities. New Zealand have exploited it little times around sort of over the years with the cross-field kicks, the kicking, passing. So I'm sure England would have looked at that. Farrell, George Ford, guys like that are very good at these kicks. You've got to use your kicking game against South Africa. You have to break up that defence, because if you try and just run it over and over again, you're going to get battered, and you're going to get battered backwards, and then you have to kick not on your terms. You want to be able to kick on your terms against South Africa. And sometimes that is by making, like here, perfect example with France, it's on their terms, because they've made a line break. South Africa are scrambling, and they've dictated where they're going to kick it. Now, that's where England have to get right. They have to kick on their terms, not because they've been battered and it's the last resort, then they're going to go to the air and try and get the ball back.
Well, someone who's key in that role will be Manu Tuilagi. We saw how good Jonathan Danty was on the weekend for France. Tuilagi fills a similar role. He's going to be there to try and get them front football. How important is he to England's potential success?
Oh, he's huge. Just gain line factor. You know, that matchup, Delande, who was immense again. Jesse Curl, unbelievable defender. They're going to need Manu to really punch that defence and get them going. Because if they get going, then they can't blitz as hard because they're going backwards, but South Africa will still come. So it can leave opportunities for little pockets in the defence, because you'll get one man shooting, and the likes of Farrell, etc., will look at those and take them to pieces. So he's massive for them. He has to get the gain line. He has to get England going forward.
3 of the people who've perhaps been most successful for England all sadly play in the same position: Owen Farrell, George Ford, Marcus Smith. Is there a way of getting all 3 of them in the team, or will England have to sacrifice one?
I think Freddie Stewart will resume at 15 this week, just because of the aerial opportunities and the aerial game that's going to come from South Africa. I do think you need Marcus Smith on the bench, and I think you need George Ford on the bench. So there could be an opportunity having both on them. Now, that's the dilemma, is who covers where, and but you got Daly who can cover midfield. For me, England, if they want an opportunity to beat South Africa, they have to go and win the game. They can't try and just defend the game and try and get penalties and win by 3 points, whatever. They have to go and attack it. And France tried that, and they were very successful for the first 20 minutes. But then South Africa gripped them into their game. Now, England have to play smart. And those players all together can cause some havoc. It's just how the makeup of that team will work.
Well, I think it'd probably be fair to say that neither you nor I expect England to win on the weekend. But they've got this far. They've got a game plan that feels bedded in now and gives them the opportunity to win. There's a good chance that they could cause an upset, even if we perhaps don't think that they're anywhere near favourites.
Oh, it's knockout rugby. It's one game, it's one moment. You don't know what can happen. Anything can happen in knockout rugby, but there's always a but. I think South Africa have just got too many World Cup winners in their group. And when you've got winners and have been there and done that through the hard times and have tasted success the way they have, it's just a little bit more. You have that edge, and it's not just an edge, it's under pressure. And South Africa were under so much pressure from France. Home nation, home stadium, the way they started. And to absorb that and come out the other side, it's going to be a big, big ask for England.
So this is a matchup of the final 4 years ago. What has changed in those 4 years, for both sides?
Yeah, obviously you got new coaches. We all agree that England played their final the week before when they were unbelievable against the All Blacks. Then just got out-muscled by South Africa. Now they've got a whole new way of playing. They've got a new setup, a few new faces. And South Africa hasn't changed much, which is the scary part for England supporters. But there are a few that were in that final, and they're hurting. And when you're a player and you've lost a final, don't worry, I've been there, a few of them, it gives you that extra little bit of edge, and you want to taste success. We all play rugby to win. And when you come close to it, and when they ran out into that final and walked past the Webber's trophy and then didn't get to lift it, they'll be burning. That would have been burning for 4 years. England are going to have a lot of desire, and then South Africa are going to want to back it up. So it's going to be an awesome semi-final.
So what, with that in mind, is your score prediction for the weekend?
Oh, I've got mates on both sides, so they're going to hate me, but I think South Africa by 20.
Well, that's what Jimmy thinks. But what do you think? Will South Africa walk away with the semi-final? Or will England undo what happened 4 years ago and take the victory? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Beyond 80, and we're back next week.